Welcome to Real Estate Radio LA. I'm your host, Gil.Azcarate, the hostess with the mostest, your real estate agent to the stars, and you're all stars to me. I say that every week, and I mean it. I really want to give you star treatment. Real Estate Radio LA is a show dedicated to real estate right here in LA, and I have a very, very special guest, but he's going to have to wait. He's been waiting his whole life for this. I finally have my big brother on the line, and I'm going to introduce him, but I have to say one thing first. My DRE number is 0129-8646. This show is for entertainment and information purposes only. It is not intended to give you legal or business advice. Please consult your local professionals with your particular situation. So, because my brother is on the phone, and it is a special day, and I'll talk about that more in a little bit later, but Gil.Azcarate, did I pronounce that right?
You pronounced that right, finally.
Finally, somebody that called. We've been called a lot of things, but my brother Gil.Azcarate is on the line. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Welcome. Glad to finally be here.
Yeah, it's been a while. I made him wait a year, because occasionally he says things that are not appropriate. No, I'm just kidding. But he is not only my brother, he is my best friend, and I love him to death. And he is here as a specialist because tell him a little bit about everybody, how you got started, because you got into real estate before I did. When did you start real estate? What year?
1988.
Damn, you're old. 1988. You got your license, but didn't you started off in title insurance first?
1985.
Wow, you're old. 1985.
Don't tell anybody.
3 years you did title insurance, and then you got your real estate license, and you started working for RE/MAX.
Correct. Well, it was a RE/MAX at the time, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was Todd Olson Estate Brokerage.
Realtor in Porter Ranch.
That's right, and then he converted. When I got there, he converted to RE/MAX.
Correct.
There you go. So in the Valley.
Because you came over.
Yeah, I converted. In the Valley, and you were like I had a traditional job, my mom had a traditional job, now we're all real estate agents, and we're looking at you going, wow, what is he doing? He's making money, he's buying houses, he's fixing them up. So take us through the ups and the downs of your story. You start in real estate, and when do you buy, how old were you when you bought your first house? I forget, because I'm so much younger than you.
Right, you're so much younger, so I don't know if you can remember that far back. 1989. Bought the cheapest house in the Valley for $115,000. I just went to the bottom of the barrel. What was the cheapest thing? And that's what I bought.
No kidding. That was your first house. You fixed it? Flipped it?
Fixed to rent it. Thank God we have the best mom in the world, and she supported us. And she showed me, we maxed out credit cards. We used everything to buy a house. And we were able to get into it. Mom, she's always pushing us to buy real estate. She's fantastic.
That is amazing. That is true. That is true. We really do have to give Mom a lot of credit for just she. And this is somebody who my mom came over in 1967, I think, is when we came over, and barely spoke English. My dad as well. My dad was a carnation milkman. My mom worked in an office. They never made a lot of money. And 3 years into coming here to the country, they bought their first house in 1970 for $22,000 in Winnetka, which was Canoga Park at the time. So she really showed us by example what real estate did for us, because really, and I think you'll agree and we'll all agree, is everything we have is because of real estate. And it really started with this immigrant mom, and who came in and said, hey, it is really difficult to buy real estate in Colombia. And she comes here 3 years later and buys a house, and then upgrades and goes to Woodland Hills and buys Granada Hills. And remember, we were in Colombia when Mom says, oh, by the way, I just bought a 5-bedroom, 4-bathroom house in Granada Hills. Without going inside, she peeked through the window and bought that house. Isn't that amazing? So that's my mom. So you buy your first house. We buy your first house leveraging mom's credit, And then tell me about again the ups and the downs, because you got crazy stories.
Well, I mean, there's obviously trends, and we're going through one. 115,000, and all we did is, I think I owned 3 houses before I ever lived in one, because I still lived with Mom, and she's just buying, and we rent them out. And then I'd fix them up. I'd go in there and I'd do the manual labor myself. I installed the carpets, I installed the kitchen, I fixed the bathrooms, and so every day I was in there working it, and for a couple months, and then we were able to rent it out, and then start doing the same thing again with a couple other more. That's what got me into. I love the fact of fixing houses and the aspect of remodeling. I love it, but like everybody else, if you're doing it for the first time, what do you know?
You make some mistakes. Some of them are very costly, and we didn't have the experience of the ups and the downs of the market, and I remember you were just buying and again living at home and owning properties, and then 1994 the earthquake comes, and we didn't have earthquake insurance.
No. And at that time, you could only get it on your personal residence, which I wasn't living in, so they didn't have any assistance.
Wow, I didn't realize that. Yeah, thank God Mom had it, and otherwise we really would have lost everything. And then she had earthquake insurance. You lost some property, so here you go on owning a bunch of properties to losing a bunch of properties. And at that point, you didn't really want them because they were destroyed, and we didn't have the money to fix them up.
Correct, and they're upside down. I bought them by that time it was like I bought them for $250, $260, and they were back to worth of $120 again. Because after the earthquake, not only did the real estate market take a dive after 1980, 89, 90, real estate took a dive, and then on top of that, we had the earthquake.
Right, we had a double whammy.
The property in the valley and property values in the valley twice as bad.
Yeah, I would say we almost had a triple whammy. I remember the country was going through something. They were closing down military bases, so California got hit really bad, and we had the earthquake. So when you say you're upside down, you bought it for, let's say, $300, you put $100 or $250 or whatever, and you put $100, $200 into it, whatever, and now it's worth $100,000.
And you're like, so that's when people
I had
walk
one that
away.
was appraised. I had one that was appraised for $550 right before the earthquake. And after the earthquake, and that one I had rented out. And after the earthquake, and the prices dropped, the bank sold it for $220.
Yeah, now is that Calatrava?
That was Calatrava.
South of the boulevard, above something's fishy for those valley people. So now we're all in the rebuilding stage again, and then we come back. I think 1998 or something like that. You come back and you start rebuilding, and you start really doing well in real estate. And then you call me, and I'm traveling the world, Venezuela, Colombia, Chile. 5 years of just getting out of LA because we were going through all the Rodney King stuff, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. It was brutal. So I wanted to see the world. And we're going through it right now. It's just different name. So we're, and I'm here in Colombia, it's about 2000, and you call me up and say, hey, you got to come home. I need your help. Mom needs your help. Real estate's killing it. And I said, I'll be right there. So I came home and I started my real estate career being Gil.Azcarate's assistant. And I was the top that is funny because I almost got kicked out of the office. I was the top non-agent producer. They took me aside. They said, hey, we know what you guys are doing. You got to get your license because you guys are killing it. And they gave me a month, and I passed my license, and it's been downhill from there. No, I'm just kidding. So here we are. But I'm glad we're doing this because not only is it special day today, but it tells you a little bit about your history, right? You were really good. We all admired you. Our friends, our family would go, God, my brother is so good at decorating and colors and fixing these houses with zero training. You didn't have construction training. You didn't have designing training. And then all of a sudden, it is. Let me see, what year was it? When did you get hit by the
2013.
2013, my brother is an avid cycler. He's 6'5". He has no business being on a bike. He's huge. If you know cyclists, they're like 4 feet tall. And he gets hit by a car and almost dies. So when he finally comes out of that, and it was bad, I think, tell the listeners what you went through.
Yep, at that time that was, I got hit 2010. I got hit in 2010,
Right.
end of 2010, and, real estate market 2008, you and me owned a real estate office and a mortgage company, and we don't have to tell you what happened in 2008. So, like you said, I rode my bike for a couple of years, and I decided after the accident, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? So I decided to do something I love to, and a girlfriend said, hey, why don't you go become a designer? And I'm like, sounds like a great idea, because I was very frustrated knowing I could do better. I just didn't know what it was. So I said, okay, let's go to design school. I'm already broke. I don't have any money. I might as well do something I love for free. Nobody's going to pay me. I didn't get in it to get paid. I got in it to know more. And then once I got out of design school, I got my first client like the day after. I'm not going to tell anybody it was my mom. And we remember she had a flood in their house, and I remodeled the entire house. I just remodeled the entire house right away.
I hope everybody thinks this is as interesting as you and I, because this is my brother just, telling stories and go, wow, you forget about that, right? It's 2010. He gets hit by a car. He has what we call, in a respectful way, a come to Jesus moment. We're saying, what do I want to do with my life, right? Everybody's a realtor. We don't need another realtor in the family. And you go on and you go to design school, and you come back a different person with another eye. You were always naturally good at it, but now you got formal training, and it really took your business, our business, and our vision for real estate to a whole new level.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, I never thought it was going to be a business. I got into it just to remodel houses for us, for the family. We did that house over there in Lancaster.
Oh, yeah.
So once I did that house in Lancaster, I was very frustrated because I knew I could do better. Even though we sold it in 2 weeks and it was fantastic, I still knew I could do better. So that's when I enrolled into design school, and it took me about 3 or 4 months of just crushing it. And then, but in the first 2 weeks, completely changed my life.
Yeah.
I mean, they taught you in the first 2 weeks how to view things completely different than anybody else in a natural form. They taught you about spacing. They taught you about ergonomics, which is what the space the body needs for when it sits down, when it stands up, when it walks around, where to put walls, how much space for this. It just taught you everything.
I got to take a break. We're going to be back right after this. This is Gil.Azcarate, Real Estate Radio LA at realestateradio.la.com. Welcome back to Real Estate Radio LA. I'm your host with my special guest, Gil.Azcarate, my best friend, my favorite person in the world, and a very, very talented designer, contractor, real estate agent. So before the break, we were talking about everything changed, right? You saw things differently. Now it made sense. You don't just put a table there and a chair there and cabinets there. So that's really where your eyes opened up. And I remember how excited you were about everything you were learning. And it was beautiful to watch this transition. And it really was something that just started making sense, and all started clicking for you.
Right. Remember your ex-wife? That's okay, we say that. She always wanted
Can
to
you
come
say
over
ex-wife
and
on the radio?
rearrange. Can you say that today?
Yeah.
Your ex-partner? She always wanted me to come over and fix her living room and the furniture, and I would say, I don't know what to do. I don't know. 2 weeks out of class, I knew exactly what to do.
Right.
And we rearranged your entire living room.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I still got divorced.
Changes. Huh?
And I still got divorced.
And you still got divorced after you rearranged your living room. I thought that was a mistake. But one of the things is how we come into today, which makes me very unique, because I tell everybody, if I can find me, I would have hired me. But I couldn't find anybody like me, because I'm a designer. I know about construction. I'm very OCD. I like to watch things neat and organized and done correctly and on time. So it's very hard to find a contractor who has a design eye. That's very hard. And it's hard to find a designer who has a contractor's eye.
Right. And that's one of the things. That's one of the things we were talking about. Contractors aren't designers. Okay, they're workers. Yeah, they're workers. They're not creative people. So a designer is a creative person, and a creative person doesn't understand construction. They're just saying, "Oh, we want you to do this, I want you to do that." You don't realize how hard it is. You can't take that wall down. It's load bearing, and you have that ability of doing both. And I remember you sort of got into construction and hiring your own guys because of frustration. Yeah.
If a contractor ever tells you, go pick out the tile and I'll install it for you, or go pick out whatever you want and I'll install it for you, you're going to have a very bad design.
Right.
Because what do you know about tile? What do you know about furniture? If you're going to remodel a bathroom that was done in 1960 and you're just going to change the cabinet and the tile, you have a 1960 updated bathroom. You don't have a 2022 bathroom.
And that's lazy.
The space, the planning. So when a contractor tells you, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, it's lazy. It's like, hey, you go pick out the tile, and I'll see you on Tuesday, and I'll install it, right?
Right. And if you don't like it,
right?
If you don't like it, it's your fault. You picked it out.
Yeah, and that's exactly the little game they play. Is, hey, you picked it out. I'm just telling you, you got these huge tiles. They don't make any sense. I'm going to cut them up, and they're going to waste a lot. And what makes you so special in a lot of things is you literally will go with them to the tile store and get them your discount and say, hey, you pick it, but this is what I recommend. Go smaller, go bigger, right? And spacing, because when you have a small space like a powder room, you don't have all the room in the world. So spacing and designing, or a small bath, and then all of a sudden sometimes you see these cabinets, you can't open the door because the cabinet and the door hit. That happens all the time. Contractors will take the path of least resistance. So we talked about 5 things that makes you special, right? And the way I've got them is, one of them is you are present at every job site. And this is not what contractors do. Contractors take your money, they sign the contract, they sort of give you an idea, they show you some pictures on their phone of past work, and then they send, and I'm Hispanic, I can say this, they send Jose and Manuel over to do the job, and he shows up once or twice a week just to get paid. Make sure everything's going right, but how would he know everything's going right when he hasn't been there for 5 days?
Correct.
Right, so you are present.
Yeah, I'm present. If I'm not present that day, it's because they're putting up a wall and it's drywall, and I don't have to be present for drywall. But I do want to be present for framing. I do want to be present for plumbing. I do want to be present for lighting. They don't know. An electrician doesn't know what the end of the outcome is. Like I say a lot, in a movie, you have a writer, you have a director, you have the actors, and then who puts everything together? The producer. It's the producer's job to put the writer, the director, and the actors together so they can do the best movie possible. You'll never have a great movie without a great producer.
Right, and who's watching the director? Right? If the director's not doing his job, everybody's gonna just go along with it because that's what the director said. But somebody's got to hold everybody accountable. So being present is absolutely huge in any business. If you are not present,
most contractors are doing, if you ever hear these words come from a contractor, oh, I'm very busy, I got 15, 20 jobs. So that sounds great. It's a great ego. You have a fantastic ego. But guess what? 15, 20 jobs, where does that put me?
They don't have time.
How much time are you going to be able to spend at my house?
That's what they're trying to tell you. I'm so busy, they don't have time for you, and they're so special.
And I'm so great.
Right.
I'm so great that I have all these jobs. Well, that's not great for you, the client.
right?
So, like I tell you, I take 3 to 4 jobs max.
Right.
I am maxed out at 4 jobs, and they're usually not 25 miles away from each other.
Right.
So I am present at every job, and I know at 8 o'clock I got to be here, at 7 o'clock I got to be there, at 9 o'clock I got to be over there. And then everybody takes off, and then I run around the day, whoever needs what, and then what needs to be done. And the rest of the day is handling, objections or picking up product or sending product or working with the guys, telling them what to do next. But every day I have to be present, because if you catch if something's wrong and I get there tomorrow, well, it's not a big deal. If something's wrong and you get there a week from now, it's a big deal.
Right. And now
You know,
Now,
like this last job I just told you about, they called me. They just felt something was wrong, and thank God they called me because, yeah, it was all wrong. All the lighting was wrong. You put up a cabinet and it covered up a light. The plumbing was wrong.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they already poured the concrete, but all the plumbing was wrong for the bathroom. Everything had to be moved over 6 to 8 inches, and that's after pouring concrete. So now you got to break out the concrete.
The contractor will take the path of least resistance. Again, he tells his guys, "Hey, put up 10 can lights." They just put up 10 can lights. They don't care if they're perfectly centered. You are really OCD. It is really in a good way because you're very visual, so and it got to make sense. So when you're designing a kitchen, and people just put in just cabinets, no, it's got to make sense. There's positionings and spacing and where should the stovetop go and all that stuff. So we only got about 3 more minutes, so I want to make sure that I'm touching everything. So what makes my brother special is he's not only present, he's got that design eye. So it's got to make sense. It's got to be perfect. He's got a real estate background. So he's going to tell you, say, hey, if you want to spend money on that, but you're never going to see it. So he's saying, hey, are we flipping this thing? You got to get in and out, or are you going to live in it? Big difference. That is a very, very big difference. And one of the things I want to focus on for the next couple minutes is you're a project manager. So if somebody hired a contractor, you are frustrated. You're thinking, this isn't really going, I don't know. I don't feel like it's really going to be wow. And this is my slogan for you, and I tell you to use it all the time, but you never listen to me. If you want wow, hire my brother. If you don't want wow, hire somebody else, right? If you're not looking for wow, right? If they don't walk in, you spent $100,000 in a kitchen, and they don't walk in and go, wow, right? They just go, oh, you did your kitchen, that's nice. So being a project manager, so if somebody's having problems in an issue, they can actually hire you to be a consultant to go and oversee the work and keep that electrician or that contractor, accountable and say, this is wrong. You know this is wrong. You better fix it. So give everybody your number real quick, and then I got to get going.
818-929-4444. That's 818-929-4444.
That is Marisa.
Salt, and you want me to go look at something, I don't charge for that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people may charge for that, but a lot of people, it could be worth your while. And it could stop there, and then you can continue, or you can hire me to go on. Like I told you the other day, somebody called me and said, hey, my bathroom, I just had it finished, and it's leaking. Well, how much did it cost you? Well, we paid $7,000. Well, now you know what?
No, that was a real estate agent who owns 10 pieces of property. She hired the cheapest guy, and her bathroom was leaking, hired my brother to fix it. So, hey, buddy, I got to get going. 818-929-4444. That's 818-929-4444. My brother, this show will be running on August 27th. We are going to be celebrating your new birthday because on August 28th last year, you were dying of COVID. So happy birthday, and I love you. Amen. Amen. Dying is overrated. So Real Estate Radio LA, I love you, buddy. God bless America. God bless our troops, and God bless you, bro.